over the Happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well on this Wednesday afternoon. How's everyone doing today? Hope all is well. Hope everyone is doing great on this Wednesday afternoon. So let's get right to it, you guys. Now, everyone has been, praying and hoping that, Nancy Guthrie is returned home safely. 84-year-old woman was taken against her will on January 30th of this year. And something just very strange and off about the whole investigation. It's been 3 weeks, 18 days, you guys, and they have no suspects. They have a lot of leads, but no suspects. And they found a glove like 2 miles away from Nancy's home. And I don't know, it just something doesn't feel right to me with this whole investigation. It's like they have all these resources and everything that in their disposal, and they're not getting any suspects. There's no suspects. But I can tell you right now that the Guthrie family, including the spouse, been cleared. They've been cleared as suspects and of the disappearance of Nancy, so they're no longer a suspect. So everyone can just, take a breather and, just like, oh, they're not suspects. Even though we all thought that someone from the inside of a family member could have abducted Nancy and took her against her will, because it's always the family. It's always someone that you're close to the most will do something so heinous. But luckily, to the police officers, they have ruled out the family member, including the spouse, so they're no longer a suspect. But this is what we know so far. And when I last spoke to you guys about this and gave you the latest update, they were saying that they were questioning the sister Annie and her husband because they were the last person to see Nancy. But like I said, the police officer has ruled them out. There are no longer suspects, but they're still, questioning a lot of people that are around the neighborhood. They're getting all these tips and leads, and there's still no Nancy. You know what I mean? We don't know if she's dead or alive. The only thing we just know about the ransom, but the ransom don't make any sense. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're gonna do a ransom, you would think that they will provide a recent photo of Nancy just to show proof of life, to make sure that she's alive, she's okay. But to just send this ransom and demand, Bitcoin money for money to be transferred to Bitcoin, but there's no proof of life. We don't even know if she's alive or dead. And this is what we know so far. What they collected, that glove during the scene. And this is what it is. So the glove has no match in the database, no match to DNA in the house. They're still processing things what's in her house, and they're looking into genetic genealogies to find out who the glove belongs to, if it belongs to a friend or a suspect. We just don't know. And it's just very bizarre. 3 weeks in, 18 days later, we still don't have any news about Nancy. We don't know if she's dead again. We don't know if she's alive. We just don't know. So we're going to go back. I'm going to take you back to the timeline of when she was abducted from her home and what they currently know now. And this video that I'm about to show, it was 14 days. It's not current, but I just want to show you the timeline of everything that has been transparent upon now, the 18 days later, 3 weeks. We still don't know we don't know where Nancy is. And also, I want to tell you as well, Benny from PBD podcast, he shed some interesting light. Now, he said this is all alleged. This is, it's not, I'm not going to say it's not true. This is all alleged, and he doesn't have concrete proof or evidence what I'm about to share with you guys. However, it kind of makes sense when you listen to what he has to say. And I did not put any thought into it until I actually listened to it, and then writing down the clues and everything, because I didn't know that Savannah interviewed the victims back in 2015, that she interviewed the Epstein victims. Virginia Giuffre and among the other victims were there when she interviewed them back in 2015. Also, Vinny mentioned that Savannah is in the Epstein files, which that is very, very crazy to me. But take a listen to Vinny, what he has to say, and I'm going to give you my assessment about this, how it just seems very weird. And also, I feel like it's all connected. It's all connected with Savannah, with Nancy, with Charlie Kirk, with Virginia Giuffre, and among other people. I just feel like with the whole Epstein thing, it's all connected. But take a listen to what Vinny had to say about the whole Epstein and Savannah and her mother, Nancy.
Savannah Guthrie, she's in the Epstein files. Rob, can you please put this up? Rob, can you show it? And by the way, this is all my assumption, this is all my allegation, but she's in the Epstein files. And if you could go up, Rob, right there. This is, I don't know who this is, Pat. I'm assuming because they redacted everything on the highlighted yellow and keep going down. Click on that one right there. Pat, if you read this, they obviously black redacted everything.
Can't see anything. You can read it.
I got you. Just wanted to give you a heads up. She's done another interview with Savannah Guthrie. I'm assuming they're talking about Virginia Giuffre. In that, she said the following. She was interviewed by the FBI in 2011 by a blank. In the interview, she gave the names of all the girls she helped to traffic. All right. She also interviewed the SDNY, no time frame. 2 other women also tell DOJ that Epstein specifically trafficked them to other men. Number 4, there are cameras in the New York City house and others.
Pause. When Vinny mentioned cameras in the bathroom and other houses, do you remember when Kash Patel, among other people, were saying to us, there's no cameras, there's no videos, there's no surveillance, but apparently there was cameras because, like I said, Epstein recorded everything. He had cameras everywhere in his home, whether it was in New Mexico, his Manhattan home, his pedophile island. He had cameras everywhere, okay? Everywhere to record every little disgusting thing that's been happening, so he can use that as leverage to blackmail these high elite rich people, rich men. Okay, so I'm going to rewind it again on what Vinny said. Cameras in the bathroom and among the other rooms in Epstein's home.
City house and others where he could watch people in the bathroom and elsewhere. They're planned to air it on Today and this Friday's Dateline. Okay, another fact. Savannah Guthrie is the first mainstream television journalist to interview an Epstein survivor. And
which, by the way, I never knew that. Again, back in 2015, I was not even following the case of Epstein and then the victims. I wasn't following them at the time in the whole investigation. But that's very, very interesting, you guys, that Savannah interviewed the victims of Epstein.
In 2015, again, this is all my speculation, Pat. I'm just out there going down this freaking rabbit hole. NBC executives, I'm pretty sure, knew that they released that. They're going to have to deal, Dateline was going to have to deal with, litigation and all that stuff. And then they had another thing called Reckoning, where a documentary on Dateline with all the Epstein survivors, that was going to lead to all this craziness. Now, Savannah Guthrie gave Virginia Giuffre a national platform and a voice to make these allegations that reached the highest levels of power. And if you guys remember, who was the main person that they were talking about? You guys remember?
Prince
Andrew. That was the number one, and they were going after him. And imagine all the stuff that came after him. But another thing, separately, Savannah Guthrie's husband, Michael Feldman, worked in the Clinton White House for 8 years. He served as the deputy assistant to President Bill Clinton as a senior comms and policy aid guy. His responsibilities were internal operations, message coordination, political strategy. And then after leaving, her husband co-founded the Glover Park Group. It's a Democratic-aligned public relations and consulting firm. Pat, you know what they basically do? They go around, Tom, and if there's stuff about you that they need to fix, they clean up your image and all that type of stuff. So I think right now, what we could be witnessing is not just an abduction, it's psychological warfare being used. Again, my speculation, but what if this is a form of institutional retaliation against someone who helped those figures?
You heard what he said. What if it was a retaliation because Savannah gave Virginia Giuffre the platform? for her to tell her story, for her to tell the names of the people that she was sex trafficking with. Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, a former Prince Andrew, among the rest of the victims. Okay. Also, I just lost my train of thought. Also, the other people that were having other platforms as well, that the people that did not want them to have platforms, but they did, and they did not like it. So just remember what he said. And I thought that was very, very interesting what he just said about retaliation.
It's not random that she's in the files. It's not random that she interviewed Virginia. It's not random that she interviewed all these people. And you know what? I did a little digging. Do you guys remember who was another person towards the end of his life that was openly criticizing our government with handling of the Epstein files? Do you guys remember?
Charlie Kirk. What
do you guys remember? Charlie Kirk. On July 14th, remember Trump came out and said, if you guys are doing this, you don't support me, I'm not with you. You remember that? That was July 14th. He told everybody to back off. That same day, Charlie Kirk said, I'm done talking about Epstein. And then guess what? On July 15th, the very next day, he flipped and he demanded that the files were going to be released and covering Epstein for nearly an hour on his show. An hour. And then less than 2 months later, I think it was 50-some days, Pat, he was dead.
So don't tell me that's a coincidence, okay? That makes a lot of sense. Even though this is speculation, this is just alleged. And, like Benny said, he don't want to go in the rabbit hole, but I believe he is. And it makes a little bit of sense. But take a listen to Charlie Kirk when he spoke about the Epstein and how the government should be releasing or doing something about it, and how they basically covering it up. So take a listen to what Charlie Kirk had to say about the whole Epstein.
Father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet.
Was he lying? I don't believe so. Charlie Kirk was trying to warn all of us about Epstein, how Epstein was probably working with the Israelis, Mossad, and he was an agent, and he used his I don't even know what he was not very bright. Okay, I was going to say tools. His influence. They basically just gave him a lot of money so he can just do what he does best, I guess, blackmail people, rich people, and get information from them and use it as leverage. That's what he was doing. And I just feel like the math petition, all that, it was just all a facade. It was just all just to cover up what he was really trying to do. And Charlie Kirk was trying to warn us about all of this. And look what happened. Just like I believe with Virginia Dufresne. I don't believe she committed suicide. I believe that someone took her out. I think someone took her out, because of the things that she was doing. She was outing a lot of people out, telling people, the whole world, what happened to her, among other girls. You know, she was recruiting other girls as well. And I don't believe that she killed herself. I don't believe that she would leave her children behind because she felt lonely or she was sad or she was depressed. I don't buy it at all. I feel like everything with Virginia, Savannah, Nancy, Charlie Kirk, I feel like they're all connected. They're all connected. And my thing is, why would anyone want to kidnap an 84-year-old? Why? And why now? That's my question is, if they have to do anything with Savannah interviewing the Epstein's victims, okay? Why go after the mother now? 26. Why not go after Savannah when she did the interview in 2015? Why wait decades later to go after the mother when Savannah is the one who interviewed the victims? That's what I'm saying. I don't understand this. This feels very off and weird. And why her name is on the files? That's very odd as well. You would think that this is just me. If I was a criminal, okay, a mastermind criminal, I don't think I would go after an 84-year-old woman who can't defend herself, who's not hopeless, excuse me, helpless, who takes medication. I would think I would go after Savannah, the person who gave Virginia a spotlight to tell her story, because her story was very huge at 2015 when she was accusing a lot of people, and I would just follow her. And I know Savannah probably had bodyguards and security guards and stuff like that to protect her, watch her. But my thing is, if they really want to go after her, you would think if someone's crazy in a criminal mind, there was surveillance Savannah, follow every move, every step that she does, and then grab her, kidnap her, or whatever. But why the mother? That's what I don't understand. Why the mother? And why now? She interviewed these people in 2015. That's why it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. But take a listen to the interview of 2015 that Savannah interviewed the victims. That's what I'm saying. Something seems off because I don't get it, because we don't have any details. We don't have any suspects. The law enforcement, the authorities saying they have leads. Okay, and I know they can't tell us everything. But again, it's 18 days and we still don't know where Nancy is. What is the connection? That's what I'm trying to put together. What is the connection? Because Virginia's dead. Charlie Kirk is dead. Nancy's missing. Savannah's in the Epstein files. What are they trying? To me, it looks like, is it payback? Are they trying to get payback all these people who gave the survivors, the victims, a platform? Is just a retaliation? I don't know. I don't want to go through a rabbit hole, but I don't know. It just, something doesn't seem right to me that someone will go in to an 84-year-old woman's house and take her in the middle of the night. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I just feel like all of this is just a connection. It's just a connection. It's just, I don't know. I have no idea, you guys. And I'm just so thrown off by this, what Benny said. And I just want to go back and have you listen to it again. I'm just thrown off by it. Again, I don't want to go through the rabbit hole, but I don't know what to make of it, what he just said. I really don't. But anyway, while I think about that, take a listen to the 2015 interview that Savannah interviewed Virginia and also the other victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Take a listen.
People who've experienced trauma of this kind come together united against a common enemy. There's a very special bond between us all.
A painful bond shared among these 6 women sitting together for the first time for an exclusive interview with NBC News.
I find it very comforting to be here.
Marika Chartouni, Anushka DeGiorgio, and Rachel K. Benavidez sharing their stories about Epstein for the first time on television.
I think the nature of this kind of abuse means that you're conditioned to be silent, to be isolated, secretive, and shameful.
I feel like, it was a big game for him, and we were the pieces of his game.
And you're like, I'm just not going to say anything because that's what he told me to do.
The women all have familiar stories of grooming, promises, and then sexual assault.
I can relate to pretty much every person sitting here next to me.
Virginia Roberts-Guthrie says Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her one summer when she was working as a locker room attendant at Mar-a-Lago. In her first broadcast interview, Virginia tells NBC News what she has previously alleged in court filings, that Epstein directed her to also have sex with a number of powerful men, among them Britain's Prince Andrew.
He was an abuser. He was a participant.
Virginia says she was 17 when this photo was taken with the prince in Maxwell's London townhome, next to the bathroom where she says he sexually abused her.
What happened? The first time in London, I was so young. Ghislaine woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Club Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, "Let's dance together." And I was like, okay. And we leave Club Tramp, and I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Jeffrey. And Ghislaine said, "He's coming back to the house. And I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein." I couldn't believe it.
Virginia says the abuse moved from the bathroom to a bedroom.
He wasn't rude or anything about it. He said, thank you, and some kind of soft sentiments like that, and left. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
She says Prince Andrew abused her 2 more times, once in New York in Epstein's mansion, and again at his Virgin Islands estate.
Prince Andrew, of course, denies that this ever happened.
Yeah, he denied it in 2015, but now everything is coming to the light because now there's evidence to the fact that, well, not evidence, but there's clearly evidence that former Prince Andrew is on the Epstein files. Also that Andrew did continue to have a relationship, continue to hang out with Epstein, even though he was convicted as a sex offender. Okay, that's one. 2, he hired one of his bodyguards, I believe, and tried to do an investigation on Virginia, okay, to seek some information about her so he can use that against her. 2. 3, the photograph, okay, the photograph that was taken in London and Ghislaine Maxwell's home, he was there, okay. He said that it's fake, it's falsified, it's not real photos. Well, that is false because in the files, it's an authentic photo of Virginia, Ghislaine, and former Prince Andrew. And then you can see it behind the window, you can see a flash. Who took that photo? Jeffrey Epstein, okay? So everything that former Prince Andrew said was all a lie, and everything is coming out. You see, when things are hidden in the dark, things are coming to the light. And that's why everything was stripped from him. That's why his brother, King Charles, took everything. But that's not enough. Even though his brother, King Charles, took his title, took his home, and now he's no longer a prince, it's not enough. He needs to go to the United States and testify, do some type of deposition, and tell authorities what he knows. Okay, what he knows, because there needs to be some accountability because he took away his titles and all that stuff. It's not enough for the American people, in my eye. It's not enough. There needs to be more.
He denies that it ever happened, and he's going to keep denying that it ever happened. But he knows the truth, and I know the truth.
What do you say if people think this is about money for you, that you're trying to get money and have gotten money?
Well, unfortunately, there's this horrible law called statute of limitations. My lawyer said the way to get Ghislaine Maxwell held accountable, the way to get Jeffrey Epstein held accountable is through them saying I'm a liar, which I'm not. So it's called a defamation suit.
Like all others she's named, Prince Andrew has denied the allegations. Buckingham Palace telling NBC News in a statement, it is emphatically denied that the Duke of York had any form of sexual contact.
And the funny thing is, at the time when, the Queen Elizabeth, may her soul rest in peace, denied all the allegations, but they'd settle with her. 12 million pounds, they settle with her. If you didn't have nothing to do with it and you have nothing to hide, why settle? If she was a liar and what she's saying is falsified, everything was a lie coming out of her mouth, why settle? Because if you were truly innocent, you wouldn't settle. You wouldn't even give a person a penny, okay? But truly, the queen, when she was alive, she didn't want this whole big scandal. She didn't want her son to go to trial or do some type of deposition, ask questions, because it would have brought shame to the family. Shame. Okay, but now the queen is no longer here. It's King Charles now. Now he's taking action, but he needs to take more further action by having his brother come to the United States or go to Britain authorities or whatever and do a deposition. Tell the people what he knows, because he knows more than he's saying. He does, because he was friends with Epstein for a very long time.
Or relationship with Virginia Roberts. Any claim to the contrary is false and without foundation. Maxwell has not been criminally charged and has repeatedly denied the accusations against her.
What does justice look like to you now?
Justice now is holding accountable the perpetrators that helped him and participated with him.
Well, haven't happened.
And encouraging more people to come forward so we can try to put this puzzle together and understand how it happened. How did this happen for so long? How did he get away with it?
I tell you how. Rich people, rich friends, connections. But she didn't know at the time. She probably did before she accidentally, allegedly killed herself, which I told you, I don't believe she did kill herself. Someone took her out, allegedly. But it's just sad. This was 2015, and now we're in 2026. Still, no accountability. Only one person serving prison time is Ghislaine Maxwell. The rest, no one. And just like I told you last week, and I know I said I wouldn't talk about this, but what Vinny said about Nancy and Savannah, that's for me, that's shocking, because I didn't even know about this. I really didn't until I had to do my research and my homework. I'm like, oh shoot. She did really interview the Epstein victims in 2015. Oh my gosh. And she's on the Epstein files? That's not a coincidence, you guys. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. And it's sad to say that, Virginia's not here to the day to keep fighting the fight, because I believe if she was, she would have continued this like she has been when she was alive. But her life was taken too short. And if you don't now what's happening, that there's still no accountability, there's still no justice, and there will never will be. I'm sad to say there will never be any justice. There will not be any arrests. Okay. Yes, people will be exposed, but will there be arrests made? No. Will they arrest people? No, because even a lot of people saying that Trump is in on it, like meaning that Trump has he had sex with younger. I don't believe that. There's no evidence to the fact that he did this. However, he knows a lot of people who were on the files and who were on the tapes that he's protecting. That's why he did not want to release the files right away. That's why he was so hesitant, okay? Because he knew people that he's trying to protect. And that is sad. You're protecting pedophiles who allegedly had sex with underage girls, probably eat their flesh, because I heard in the files they utilize in eating flesh of underage girls and kids or whatever. It's disgusting. You trying to tell me he did not know this? He did not read the files? Bullshit. He has. And he knows who they are, like Leon Black, like among other people in those files. Even though he didn't engage in the human trafficking and the sex trafficking with underage girls, he had common knowledge. He knew, and he still knows the people who's involved. And you don't see President Trump and people going all MAGA on him. You don't see him doing any investigations. Oh, someone saying, well, he's doing an investigation, but in closed door. Yeah, okay. Why he was so hesitant to release the files? Why it had to take Congress to demand this? To demand the files to be released. And then, yes, he did sign it because he did not want it to give it. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene even said it in one of her interviews, that President Trump did not want the files to be released. He was giving pushback until Congress demanded out of the votes, because President Trump knows the names of the people. Why redact the names? Why redact them? You should show the names of the people that were involved in it, the people that were having sex with underage girls, that were doing awful, disgusting things. Why protect them? That's the thing I don't understand. This makes President Trump look guilty, even though he didn't have any involvement of having sex with underage girls, but he has common knowledge who they are, and he's not doing anything about it. And to me, that's sick. That's sad. I voted for him for transparency. I voted for him to do the right thing and to stick to his word by, yes, releasing the files, but he didn't even release the whole files. He released half of it. There's 3 other million files to go, and Pam Blondie saying that's it. No more. We're not releasing anything else. It's it. It's finished. It's done. Like, excuse me, you the DOJ. That's not, you can't just tell the American people that's it. Hello? That's not Hope Congress. Take them to court. Sue them. Do something. You can't just tell the American people that's it. There's other files to be released. And you just telling the American people that's it? We gave you what you want and then case closed? No, it's not case closed. It's not case closed. It's utterly disgusting. There should be a shame. Pam, Kash Patel, President Trump is a shame. They'd rather protect pedophiles than protect children. I don't understand. Why? That's the main billion dollar question. Why? Why protect the pedophile? Why not do the right thing? I don't understand that.
These are questions many of these women have asked, especially now after Epstein's suicide in jail, awaiting trial on child sex trafficking and conspiracy charges.
I feel let down, that he was able to commit suicide. Yeah, it was really upsetting.
They failed us before.
And they failed you again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we're asking. Take us serious. We matter.
They're not. Unfortunately.
You matter, and you matter. And for all the girls out there, you all matter too.
Yes.
You guys do matter, but they don't give a fuck. Excuse my language. They don't. They don't care if you matter. They care about the pedophiles. They matter. The pedophiles, they matter. The people on that list, they matter. They matter more than the survivors, than the children. You guys are just disposable. They don't care. They only care about protecting their rich friends, unfortunately. And it's sad to say that some of the survivors, victims, they're realizing that now. They're realizing that, the DOJ is full of shit. President Trump is full of shit. All of them. The government is full of shit. There's no transparency. There's nothing. There's nothing. And it's just sad because we're never going to get to the bottom of this. We're never going to get to the truth of the names being exposed. And it's just crazy. But back to Nancy, I'm going to talk about more about this, my theory of the Epstein tomorrow. But back to Nancy. Like I said, this whole investigation does not make any sense to me. Something is off. I can't pinpoint it what. That's why I haven't covered it too much about it. But something seems off to me. Like they have no leading suspects. They don't have nobody at all. So time is ticking. Like, is she alive? She has to take her medication. Like, there's no proof of life. There's nothing. And you have these family are like wondering like if their mother is alive or dead. And obviously with the power of prayer and hoping and believing that she is alive, she's somewhere, and I hope and pray that she is. But it's just like it's 3 weeks into this. By next week, it's 4 weeks. This is just really crazy. What are they doing? What their investigation doing? They need to speed this up and find some leading suspects about this. But anyway, let me show you this video of News Nation and the timeline of the disappearance of Nancy. That was day 14, on the time that she disappeared and what lead up to the investigation, what they know now. So take a look.
January 31st, just about 30 minutes before sunset, Nancy Guthrie travels by Uber to the home of her oldest daughter, Annie. After dinner and games, son-in-law Tommaso Sioni brings her home. The time is 9:48. 2 minutes pass, and the 84-year-old's garage door closes. After midnight, Monday, February 1st, a masked, armed man approaches Nancy's door. Head down, he focuses in on the home's doorbell camera, then turns back to grab foliage in a clumsy attempt to cover the device.
There's no question that this was planned.
By 1:47 a.m., that Nest Cam is disconnected. At 2:12 a.m., another house camera detects movement. 16 minutes later, 2:28, Nancy's pacemaker disconnects from the app on her phone. Later that morning, a friend who regularly hosts Nancy to watch a streamed church service alerts the family that she's absent. 11:56, family goes to Nancy's home to investigate. 7 minutes later, 911 is called. 12:15, sheriff's deputies arrive at Nancy's house and the search begins.
Working overnight, Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's 84-year-old mother, now at the center of a missing persons case.
Monday, February 2nd, the nation wakes to learn of Guthrie's family's nightmare. The Today Show begins without Savannah and with grave news.
And our thoughts and our prayers are with our dear friend and colleague and her family this morning. We saw some things at the home that were concerning to us.
9 a.m., the Pena County Sheriff's press conference is carried live from coast to coast.
This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailment, is in need of medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal.
A local TV station receives a ransom note with specific details about what Nancy was wearing and with 2 distinct deadlines.
We're gathering some DNA samples to get those to our crime lab. But yes, it's evident to us that she was moved from that house against her will.
By the next day, Tuesday, February 3rd, the sheriff updates News Nation about that DNA.
It confirmed that the DNA that we found belonged to Nancy, Savannah's mom.
It's announced that Savannah will be pulling out of Olympics coverage, and she asked the nation, just pray on Instagram. While sheriff's helicopters circle, News Nation brings viewers a sobering scene. We were able to get up close to the house right near the front door, and there is blood. There is a blood trail near the front door of Nancy Guthrie's house. Wednesday, February 4th, days after the crime scene is released, law enforcement converges with dogs, a perimeter, and investigators all over the property.
Are they getting things in the garage, or are they just using it to go in and out?
And love for her daughters and family.
Nancy's neighbors gather in prayer.
Now hang in there, Nancy. You got this.
President Trump posts pledging immediate federal support.
On behalf of our family.
And for the first time, we hear from the anguished family, directly addressing the kidnapper.
She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Thursday, February 5th sees a meager reward for information bump up to $50,000. Deputies canvass behind Annie Guthrie's home. A 5 p.m. ransom deadline comes and goes, and Nancy's only son posts a message.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you.
The FBI deploys digital billboards on Friday, February 6th. Nancy's car is towed. We learn another ransom note goes to a local TV station.
Is it, written by the same person? It's very difficult to tell.
And reporters aboard Air Force One get a briefing.
We have some clues, I think, that are very strong, and I think...
Pause 1 minute. And the thing I have a question of, how did TMZ got the scoop of everything? Like the ransom letter. I would like to know, how did TMZ got their information? You know what I mean? I never watched TMZ, and I don't know. They look very sketch to me, but I would like to know, how did they got their information with the ransom letter, with the gloves, everything. It's just very odd and bizarre. And my thing is, if it is connected, again, this is just my theory here. I'm not 100% sure. And maybe they already have asked Savannah if she had any enemies, did she got any threatening letters or calls in regards to the Epstein. I don't know. It's possible that they have. Because again, it doesn't make any sense for someone to walk into an 84-year-old woman's house and take her against her will. When they could have easily done it to Savannah. They could have easily surveillance her, watch every move she makes, everything that she does, and then take her. Because she's the one who interviewed, the Epstein victims. You know what I mean? If it is connected, because her name is on the file. Why go after the mother years, decades later? That makes no sense. Why wait? Why would they make their move now? Why they couldn't make it back then? I don't understand. Except that with Virginia. Why get rid of her, allegedly, and make it look like a suicide when they could have easily got rid of her a long time ago. And said that with Charlie Kirk. He was all for, at first he did not even want to talk about Epstein because he kept saying, and I'm paraphrasing, why we keep talking about Epstein? Why we keep talking about Epstein? And I believe that Tucker Carlson was telling Charlie Kirk and explaining to him about the whole Epstein thing, how he was a Mossad, how he got his allegedly how he got his money and everything. And then next you know, Charlie Kirk was looking into it, and then whatever he found out of his research, and then he talked about it on his podcast for an hour. Okay, so he was on to something about Epstein, and he tried to warn us. And look what happened. He's gone. Just like what he said. He's gone. So I don't know if this is all a coincidence or a connection, but it seemed like it because whose name keep popping up? Epstein. Epstein. Wherever you go, Epstein. With Erica Kirk, Epstein. Everything is Epstein, and the man is dead, allegedly, because a lot of people say he's alive. And if that is true, I want to see the body. I want to see the body if Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. Because I would like to see it. So I don't want to go by the medical autopsy or the medical examiner. That can be falsified. That can be altered. You could pay anyone to write any shit on documents and make it look believable. Okay? I want to see the body if he is dead. If he is dead. Does he have a burial? Does he have is he buried somewhere in the cemetery? I would like to know. These are questions I like to know. But anyway, let's continue on this timeline.
We could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
Saturday, February 7th, brings a flurry of activity both at Nancy and Annie Guthrie's home.
So I'm outside Annie Guthrie's house. Saw camera flashes from inside the house coming from the windows. So
Nancy's children release another emotional video.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us.
The septic tank behind Nancy's home is searched on Sunday the 8th.
We're now in day 9. FBI Director Kash Patel will be in Tucson today.
The work week begins with the FBI director on site, but behind the scenes. And as a ransom note's second deadline passes, the woman who typically spends her days cheerfully on camera turns to another appeal.
If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Tuesday, February 10th, a bombshell. The FBI's work nets the video seen around the world.
what we see is planned, but not professional.
Developments unfold rapidly, sending law enforcement south to Rio Rico, Arizona. I'm outside the house that is now being searched. This is her house, and the subject is her son-in-law.
Yeah,
is that right?
Son, yeah.
Deputies detain a man for questioning, and then his release.
Like, what the am I doing here? I didn't do anything, to be honest. Like, I'm innocent.
Wednesday, February 11th, the FBI searches along roadways in the Catalina foothills, and a black glove is reported to be found.
Get it forensically tested, come up with a DNA profile.
The 12th, shortly after a forensic height chart is brought in, we get this description of the man at the door. 5'9" to 5'10", average build. His backpack, a Walmart brand, 25-liter Ozark trail hiker.
They are saying as well that they now have 13,000 tips from the public.
Friday the 13th brings rain and gloomy skies for the first time since the kidnapping, and a growing display from a heartbroken community.
Now, pause. Let me. The book bag. It seemed very heavy. It seemed like there was something in the book bag. Now, if you're going to rob someone, okay, the book bag would be empty, right? So you can add stuff in there. But it seemed like it was packed with something. Maybe water, maybe rope, maybe duct tape. I don't know. And they probably walked in the middle of the desert somewhere to go to the next location. I don't know. Or there's a vehicle waiting for them while they're walking. It's a lot of possibilities. But the book bag seemed very full and very heavy. That there was something in it. So that's another thing that we should look into that as well.
Community.
People care.
A report of new evidence.
You have unknown DNA that you have found, DNA that does not match anybody in the Guthrie family, does not match Anybody working for Nancy Guthrie inside her home?
So, someone's leaving.
Nightfall nets the most activity to date. A mobile command center, the bomb squad, and a SWAT team. Multiple people detained, and a nation increasingly desperate to bring Nancy home.
Yeah, I'm desperate because none of it makes sense. Like they still don't have any leads, anybody, any suspects. And again, time is ticking. You know what I mean? Time is ticking. Again, we don't know if she's dead or alive. We really don't. And time is an essence, and we need to find out. And they need to. And not saying that they're not doing their job. Obviously, they're doing an amazing job. There's 400 people looking and investigating and trying to find Nancy. I'm not saying that. They're working their hardest. However, we need to know if she's dead or alive. We need to know if there's any other suspects that that can give us any information or give the authorities any information. You know what I mean? I can't even imagine what the family is going through, not knowing if your mother is dead or alive, but just having that hope, having that faith, and having that belief that she is still out there somewhere, alive. Now, lastly, before I go, you guys, I want to show you this video of Tim Dillon, and he's so funny, he's so hilarious, and the video that that he's talking about why would anyone would kidnap an 84-year-old woman, and I know it's shedding a little light, not light, but it's a little humor, but it's, again, this is a very serious situation, obviously, and it's no joking matter. And he even said it himself. It's just the way he said it. It's like, why on earth anyone in their freaking mind would kidnap an 84-year-old woman? Like, why? What is the purpose? What is the purpose? What is the purpose? But anyway, it's best that you hear from his own mouth the way he explained it, because I probably would butcher it. So take a listen to Tim Dillon, what he has to say.
I hope her mother comes back alive. I don't know what's happening. This is why I have not waited on it. Can you get up this video with Savannah Guthrie and the family here? Who kidnaps an old person? Nobody wants an old person. Nobody even wants the old people they have. Nobody even wants an old person that lives in their home. We as a society, in Japan and stuff like Italy, they keep the old people in the house till they die. They look at us like barbaric and inhumane because we take our old people and we put them in horrible nursing homes, and they.
That is true. That is true. But I can say, and me and my sisters have made a deal, a pact, that once our parents get a little bit older, we're not putting them in a nursing home, because I know how the nursing home works, because I used to work in a nursing home, and these nurses, especially Jamaican women nurses, they're nasty. They're nasty. And the way they treat elderly, oh my gosh. And I told myself and I told my sisters, I would never put my parents in a nursing home. If we have to, come up with the money and get a private home nurse for them to come to their home, we will do that. Or take turns staying with me or my sisters, we will do that. I will never, and I could say never with a capital Never, will never put my parents in a nursing home, because I know how nursing home works. And by the way, if anyone mistreated my parents, I will end up in jail. I said that. I will end up in jail, because it's just utterly disgusting that how nurses can treat elderly people. I'm like, who are you? Who raised you? So he is right about that. Most people have to put their parents in a nursing home because they just don't have the funds, or they just don't have the time to take care of their parents. But you know what? You have to take the time, because they took care of us. They didn't have to, but they did. And we have to repay the favor and do the same for them. That's all I have to say about that. Continue on, Tim.
Do fight clubs with them. We don't even want old people. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants an old person. Why would you abduct an old person? And by the way, I love old people. I'm just saying this is the way it is. Sadly, in our society, nobody's like going crazy for the old people. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't abducting old people. So this seems like weird that this elderly woman is abducted. And I don't know. I'm not judging them. I don't want to judge people that make ransom videos, although I feel like none of them are doing it effectively. But here we are. Savannah Guthrie and her family discussing here this horrible thing about her mother. I hope her mother comes back. Let's see. Here it is.
This morning, an emotional plea from Savannah Guthrie and her family.
We want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them.
Via social media, the Today Show host pleading for the safe return of her mother, Nancy, who police say was taken from her Tucson home. She was last seen around 9:45 Saturday night.
Our mom is our heart and our home.
This is terrible. All right, enough with this, but it is sad. I don't know what's going on I don't understand it. They're saying it's an inside thing, and I don't know, the brother-in-law or something. I don't know.
Well, it has been confirmed. It's not an inside job, and the brother-in-law and the sister Anna has been cleared. Been cleared. The whole family been cleared. So I just want to let you know, Tim. The family has been cleared. It's not an inside job. It could be, but according to the authorities, the law enforcement, they've been cleared of anything. So they're no longer suspects.
I'm not going to go. We've got too much to do here. We hope she comes back, and we hope she comes back in one piece, which is a gruesome way to say it, but that is what people say. You hope she's back in one piece. Really, I mean, I don't understand what exactly happened. I don't know who would do this or why anyone would take an old person and, I guess, hold her for ransom.
Yeah. The question is why? Why would they take her? Why would they take an 84-year-old woman? Why? And we still don't know the reason why. Again, I believe, and this is just my own theory, that this is all connected with Epstein. Because every time when something happens, I hear Epstein, like his name is in the middle of everything. It's like a big pyramid, right? You have Epstein in the top, and then you have all these other people, okay, who was involved in Epstein, some shape or form, okay, whether they were co-conspirators or they were trying to expose him. I don't know, but it seemed like something is not right, and I don't understand why someone would take an 84-year-old woman against her will, who's defenseless, who can't defend herself, who takes medication, and we don't know if she's dead or alive. So that's what I'm saying. This whole investigation, something seems off to me. Maybe they know more than they're not telling us because they don't want to leak any more information. I don't know. The ransom, they're willing to pay the money, but they're not giving any proof of life if she's alive. So I don't understand the whole ransom thing. If you kidnap someone and someone's willing to pay, why are you not showing proof of life? Why are you not making some type of deal? Because Savannah's willing to do it, all of them. So what's going on with the people who took her? It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense to me, you guys. But anyway, I don't want to keep you more longer than I should because I have Bible study tonight. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, especially what Benny just said. Again, I don't want to go in that rabbit hole, but it seemed like I might have to because something is not adding up. Something does not make sense to me. Like, why take her? Why not take Savannah? You know what I mean? She has more money. She has money. You know what I mean? She can, I don't know. None of it makes sense to me. And I don't want to go in that rabbit hole, but it seemed like I'm going to again, like I said, because everything that I just told you guys and what I wrote down, I feel like it's payback. I feel like it's payback, and I feel like something's telling me in my soul it has to do with Epstein. Everything about it is just Epstein. And I can't pinpoint what it is, but everything has to do with Epstein. I'm certain of it. I am. Like I said, there are leads, but no suspects. And all the resources that they have, and they can't even come up with anything yet. That's just weird. That's just weird to me. But anyway, let me know what you think about all this. Do you believe that Nancy Guthrie is alive? Do you believe that she's dead? What are your thoughts about this whole investigation of the disappearance of Nancy? Let me know your thoughts about this. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me live, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. God bless, and stay